3, 2, 1. That was Mary J. Blige. You remind me. So, of course, over the weekend, I watched a lot of political shows. I happened to catch Piers Morgan on The Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne was grilling him about all the problems he'd had with Trump. And Piers Morgan's reply was always, yeah, but if he hadn't, I agree, but if he hadn't done that, well, yeah, I know he attacked the cat, but if he hadn't done that, but before he did that, all right, here's the thing. If my uncle didn't have a penis, he'd be my auntie, but he isn't. Donald Trump did do those things. He talked about war and how, at least we'd be out of war. America has existed for about 248 years in July. And of those 240 years, it only hasn't been at war for 15 years. 95% of the time, America has been fighting with somebody. So very few presidents, if any, have not presided over or participated in a war. We are constantly at war. And although his argument was that Trump didn't have a war, it's interesting that the people who were saying things like Trump, we wouldn't be in wars, got mad when Biden ended one. As a matter of fact, that became his slide. That's when his approval rating started to slide, when he got out of a war. So don't tell me he avoided a war, we would avoid a war, but then you get mad at somebody who takes you out of one that had run for 20 years and was going to be never ending. No, he didn't preside over war, but he did preside over, and people are very short-sighted about this, he presided over COVID. And people died because we had a president of the United States at one time that thought a deadly virus could be cured with sunshine and bleach, and he refused to do anything. You could talk about how he didn't preside over war. There wouldn't be a war. Okay, the bottom line is more people died in that 2-year span of COVID because of his ineptitude and inaction than have died in every single war that we've ever fought combined. He had a test of leadership. He failed it, and that is why he did not get reelected. And rather than walk away, he decided to try to take matters into his own hands and break the law. So if he hadn't done all those things, maybe we're having a different conversation. But he did. And people are forgetting now about the dire consequences of his inaction. You're forgetting that he refused to do anything about COVID. And people died. People that listened to him died. There are hundreds of thousands of people that would be alive today had this country had leadership. It did not. More people died percentage-wise in this country under his leadership than died in anywhere else. And we're supposed to be the strongest, wealthiest country in the world. So you could talk about war, but when he had a test of leadership, he failed it. And all he had to do was pretend to care. And he would have won. He had to pretend to care. And he did not. So if he hadn't done all those things, maybe things would be different. And only wealthy white dudes get the presumption of if. If he hadn't done those things, maybe things would be different. But he did do them. And things got bad because of them. And things are still not recovered. There are restaurants and bars and businesses that will never come back because of that inaction. A president of the United States sat there while the world was constantly denied. Oh, we only have a few cases. Oh, no, that's not really that bad. Can't you get rid of it with sunshine and bleach? And tried. We had such a fragmented approach. Even now, who started all of this stuff where we didn't have a national approach to COVID? It was like this state would do this and that state would do that. It's like having a non-peeing section in a pool. So do not forget what he did when the chips were down. He decided to be selfish and let people die, and he would do that again. That's a little if is a big word for such a small man. That's a little note from the GED section. Got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.